Not a fan of the, was it Onimaru specifically that was bringing you down? I know some folks have some pain. Oh, you know, it'd be really therapeutic. Let's do this real quick. If anybody out there is feeling sad about Onimaru, let's watch a game of DeGrey hitting Onimaru over and over again. I think I've got some games against SuperJAG on this. DNC got almost mostly fixed. That is all. Yeah. I'm sorry that it was. Oh no. Here, we'll go up here. Okay. So I played some games against Jag. After the patch drop, some people were debating whether Oni DeGrey was like Oni favored now, and I feel very strongly that it is DeGrey favored. And we'll just watch a couple at full speed, and I can talk matchup stuff. It won't be like an in-depth review. This will be in the matchup discussion section of videos. Watch the last three. Jag wins one, which will hopefully be educational too. All right. So I think the problem with this matchup is that DeGrey doesn't have to do very much to win, and whenever DeGrey gets a throw, matchup gets broken. So real quick, Ghost cooldown is significant, but Oni lost the ability to anti-air DeGrey without risk. DNC is not broken by Ghost, but because Ghost still does hit stop on armor, which honestly feels pretty bad, because it still does hit stop, DeGrey is able to land without getting hit. He lands before the hit stop ends. Look at this. This is the thing that should counter hit DeGrey, right? And then by the time he lands, bonk, gets to block it. Which a lot of DeGrey's punished with AA. I don't think that's right. I think you want to do the back walk forward jump to do an ambiguous cross up and sometimes mix and throw. And then it's just strike throw city. Yeah, the hit stop's pretty unfortunate for him. And then this is chip out. It should be chip out, right? Good call on Jag's part. This is also a problem, real quick. I never did this before the patch because I could just parry it every time. But whenever this happens, you go for B now and it's fine. And what I've found is that you can do an empty step and still recover before the shoulder bash can hit you, which I think is DeGrey's option. So when DeGrey has meter and Oni doesn't, I'm sorry, when Oni doesn't have meter, you can jump from ranges like this and you're totally fine at this point. Oni can do C, bonk you out of the air. Like that's a good example. This is what Oni has to play around, is trading 1-for-1 with this kind of interaction. But if DeGrey has Ghost, you can threaten that thing. And getting a block with back A means that, or forward A, means that you counterpoint step and you're playing this guessing game instead of getting 2 points of chip. So getting thrown here means that I get the rare, this is a 1-frame timing, I think. It's actually worse for DeGrey than getting the real cross up. But you can get the cross up, then DeGrey magically teleports to the other side of Oni and finishes him off for 3.
Round 3. Fight.
Okay, so that worked out well for Jag. This was undisciplined of me as DeGrey. When you have meter, the key is to walk up close to Oni, about this distance away, within back A reach. At this point, when you jump, Oni cannot ground super you. You're in his blind spot when you jump over him, and you threaten that kind of cross-up spacing. And you can drop Ghost on his head, all that good stuff. So the reason why you have to have meter, though, is as you cross this valley of despair, the space before back A, you want to be able to parry ground B and forward A on reaction. It's a little tighter now that there's the extra startup on parry, but it's still possible. Still reasonable, I think. So in this case, I don't respect it, so I take my damage. Here's a good example of doing backstep and then not doing anything and getting to block the shoulder bash. Good use of neutral A to bonk me out of the air. That was not correct. Mistake here, right? So this grabs... Ideally, you do like a jump BB or something, but it works out fine. We're okay with trading life. You also don't want to just backstep randomly. You have to react to the fact that Oni's doing the cancel. But we're able to block the shoulder bash again. And then if you jump in at that spacing, you can also burn meter to just dodge the super, and you can't counter that. He also, since he's at 1, he can't GC it either. So Oni was just in a really bad spot there. Had to block it and take the tick throw mix up afterward. And if you get thrown, you get thrown again. I miss it. That's too bad. I think I had time to block that, right? We'll see. Yeah, I just was holding the wrong direction because I wasn't sure which side I was going to end up on. Important fact, DeGrey doesn't actually want, yeah. That's another thing, is that if you confirm a hit on armor and you don't get hit out of it, in this case, got to land in super. Which is still useful. And in this case, I think I didn't commit to anything when I did my jump in. So I just get the throw punish. I don't know. This is the stuff that I think is strong in the matchup. A couple like notes, I guess, is that I'm not a strong believer in using ground B and neutral. I don't think you need to use jump B either, because it tends to get like caught by random stuff in a weird way. I don't think you need to use neutral A. I think you really just like walk forward, you parry, you jump A, and you throw him a punch. Oh, and Ghost is good, right? This is the one that Jag wins out of the set. And I want to say too, I'm very grateful for Jag for playing these games with me, and I think that we could play this set more and Oni's odds could improve some. Like, Jag's got to adjust. In this set, this is very shortly after the patch drop. Jag has to adjust to the fact that neutral A doesn't work anymore against DeGrey. It's just non-functional. So there's like a lot of stuff that's hard to change up. It used to be some of these things were more legitimate. There were other problems that Oni had in the matchup. But that was a good sort of result for him. Got some good damage. Got me. So I didn't ground B on reaction there, so I ended up being less favored in that mix-up afterward. Had the guard crush put on me. Good round from Jag. Didn't let me get my game plan started, which is valuable. And this is another good... This might be a little bit of Rook brain. Throw at this range is a totally legitimate punish for Rook without walking forward. With DeGrey, I guess I have to micro walk first. Mistakey. Good job. That was a good call. So after using Ghost, it's probably more correct for DeGrey to not jump in again. This is the situation where our Ghost not breaking armor is a lot more meaningful, I think. In older patches, this would be the play pattern where you call Ghost and then you just jump at him. So that is gone now. Big, bold Yomi. Jag does that sometimes. It's high payoff if it works, for sure. I wonder, this might be one of those things too, when you see that coming. You might, if he's going to fall on you with it, you like ground B back and then you come forward and truth punch him or something. Good call with the anti-air. That's what Oni needs. Good shoulder bash. That was a mistake from DeGrey. Should have blocked. Or, you know, could parry. That's the kind of thing that you have to punish in neutral, though. I think for this to be winning for DeGrey still, you have to make these non-options. Using parry. Oh, also, after you land a parry, this is something I stole from Grubby. Grubby doesn't play so much lately, but he won the tournament this weekend, which was super awesome. Grubby's really good at finding like small interactions or cool setups that are a little niche but very strong. After parry, you do one kick and then you slightly delay it and do a second kick. And if you do it better than I did, you can even be plus. This is just +0 on block. So I jump over a little questionably. Thinking I bait something out. Good patience from Jag, hitting the neutral A. Mistake from me got me hit there. 3 damage off the cross up and then chip out. Oni could probably go for like some super idea to try and punish. Right, but then he's out of super and in this dangerous situation. Missed my throw punish. It's too bad. This is difficult for Oni though. You can just final arbiter past the boys. And I forgot that Desdemona is a bit of a traitor against backward boys. If you don't have super, BB works okay, but it's a little more vulnerable. This should be a throw. We'll see if I get the cross up. I do. I didn't actually do the full combo correctly. I don't block right there either. Need to backstep out, which is fine. And then I parry the shoulder charge. So it's one of those things where, like, I don't know, Oni's advantage states are a lot harder. So a lot of the... That's good. Trade for 1. That's the kind of result Jag needs. It's interesting. Wonder how reliable that is. Oh, that's unfortunate. Alright, down to 1. Oh, lucky for me. One thing to note when you're playing DeGrey, if you want to adopt the way of the A button, reject everything else. What is it? In the corner, your cross-ups are basically always going to whiff. So you don't really want to jump over Oni when you're in the corner. And if your opponent knows this, they'll know to Yomi or to like bop you out of the air or whatever. So whenever Oni gets in the corner, he's actually a little stronger and it's better to throw him out of it. That was a really bad choice. I don't know what I was trying to do there. Maybe I can just walk backward with DeGrey. I've never tested it. Maybe I could have also supered, but I think what this match shows, though, and what Oni wants to look at to try and counter the strategy is like using ground C really liberally as your anti-air, which you didn't have to do before, right? But as DeGrey, you want to have Ghost up when you do your jump in, so you actually threaten them if they're going to try and think about using GC. If they don't think about it, then you want to adjust your positioning. You jump from further back, and you could probably jump super the startup of their ground C, which would probably be a big blowout as well. So, oh, hold on. Good play from Jag, right? But I think it's important to note that, like, for the difficulty of the matchup, a lot of those rounds were, I think, very difficult. Like, the guessing games were hard for Oni to play, and in a few cases, not all of them, there were cases where, like, not confirming armor was part of what had DeGrey take damage. There's a classic use Ghost to cover the C option. This is a spot where jumping in again is not correct, though, I think. No, this is fine. At this spacing, C would probably not counter hit me out. That hit me out of a daggerfall, I think, but not being able to stop the 3 is rough. Yeah, got on the other side, but it's very risky. That's a predictive parry, so it's not like it's super strong, but... Oh, no block. Step, and then prediction on that. And then going for a bop. So that had to be like a predictive ground C to try and punish me jumping at him again. But at 1, I guess it probably doesn't work out either way. But there's not a whole lot of conscious thought after like the baseline of the game plan. That sequence there where I did jab and then Ghost was me expecting I got a real cross-up instead of the weird fake one. And I don't think you can phantom through that, unfortunately. Yeah. And this is the situation I was just talking about where I sort of waffled on whether it was okay or not. If I'm close and I do the Ghost like this and then I jump, then I think it can be okay. The DNC just has to start too late. And then you get to throw. I mess up my Oki. It's fine, I take my 2. Backstep, throw. Counter hit's good. So after all this, the bots are set up. And then super to get over the bots. Oh, that was good. That's unfortunate though. Went for the full 3. It's just a guessing game. It's a thing to gamble the end of the round on. So Oni's like Oni has some play and some options to pick and choose from, but I think what I found is that with my current understanding of the sort of interactions and the way the matchup plays out, it is still really slanted in DeGrey's favor. Even when Oni's in his states where he probably should be most advantaged, DeGrey's jump super and ground super are both really good tools against the spots where Oni's typically the strongest. So, just hard to play around, hard to deal with. So, at some point, sort of an open thing, I'd really be happy to run games with anybody who's like got a good anti-DeGrey strategy going, whoever has been like grinding it or figuring stuff out, and we can run it and test it and see what kind of stuff you can pull up. This is the kind of way that we take a bad matchup and we make it better. We grind the Rook R, we keep playing Oni DeGrey, and we see where we can take it. Because if you're really committed to the character, you know, a bad matchup, you might not want to counterpick. You want to just find a way to fight through it, know more about it than your opponent, and punish them for their gaps in knowledge, execution, and strategy. Question from Y20. DeGrey can now grab opponents being held by Desdemona. How does this change the game? I don't think it changes it too much now, especially with the extra ghost charge time. Yeah, I hope the team battle breakout goes your way. That's a way to also dodge bad matchups too, but you know, some of us only play one character, so we're real stuck. If DeGrey could grab opponents, so the main thing you want to do if Desdemona gets somebody is to do a jump BB to get the knockdown. That's like the ideal. Ghost grabbed them and you have time to do whatever you want. The secondary sort of ideal thing is usually AA, and I think throw would be better than AA in a lot of spots. But on the whole, they're not crazy dissimilar. Throw is actually a lot better if you're good at the Oki guessing game stuff, like you're very consistent at executing the ambiguous cross-up. But I think that anyway, against Oni, DeGrey doesn't have any trouble getting in, so it's not going to be too impactful whether he has to wait to get another throw or not. Against other characters, it probably matters a lot more, but to be honest, I'm not a very good DeGrey player in most situations. So I'm not a good one to learn most things from. You know, there's like Janet and like Chavez and Shabs also play different styles of DeGrey than Janet, and there's a lot of other players too. Please don't feel sad if I'm not saying your name. Just saying the ones that come to mind right off the top of my head, folks I talk with in Discord all the time about it. But I think that the way you play Oni is much more like fundamental. You hit the A button a lot, and that I have a fondness for pressing one button over and over again with varied timings, you know? It's a thing that's near and dear to my heart. So I wouldn't recommend, I can't help with any other DeGrey matchups really, but that one I think is fine. Just don't use the other buttons in neutral. It's my feeling anyway.